Shalom, Wakazak Mashpaka. Welcome to another episode of Daily Tonic in the World right here on GC Create TV. And I remain your humble host, Daniel Fiesna Yashurala. And like we all know that on this program, actually, we are here to join ourselves, study together, see how we can work on some chapters of the scriptures and like our daily tonic in the Word, as the program implies. And today we are back from your wisdom, which is the book of Shemu'el Ri'shon, 1 Samuel. We're taking from chapter 21, going straight down to chapter 26. And it says, Then came David to Noz, to Achimelech, the priest. And Achimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why are you alone, and no man with you? And David said unto Achimelech, the priest, the king has commanded me a business, and has said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send you. And what I have commanded you, I have appointed my servant to such and such a place. Now therefore, what is under your hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in your hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered David and said, There is no common bread under my hand, but there is a hallowed bread. If the young men have gathered themselves, at least from women. And David answered the priest and said unto him, Of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days, since I came out, and the vessel of the young men are holy, and the bread is a manna common. Yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. So the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread, there was no bread there, but the show bread, as the she bread, that was taken from before Yahuwah, to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. Now a certain man of the servants of Shaul was there that day, detained before Yahuwah, and his name was Doeg, and Emmonim, the chiefest of the herdsmen that belongs to Shaul. And David said unto Achimelech, And is there not here under your hand spear or sword? For I have neither brought my sword nor my weapon with me, because the king's business required haste. And the priest said, The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you slew in the valley of Elah, behold, it is here, wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If you will take that, take it, for there is no other save that. For there is no other save that here. And David said, There is none like that, give it to me. And David arose and fled from that day for the fear of Shaul, and went to Achish the king of Gath. And the servants of Achish said unto him, Is not this David the king of the land? Did they not sing one to another of him in dances, saying, Shaul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s? And David laid up this word in his heart, and was so afraid of Achish the king of Gath. And he changed his behavior before him, and feigned himself mad in their hands, and scrabbled on the wall of the gate, and let his spittle fall down his beard. Then said Achish unto his servant, Lo, ye see the man is mad. Wherefore then have ye brought him to me? Have I need a madman, that ye have brought this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall this fellow come into my house? Wow. Look how David had to play the wise thing here. He had to play the wise game here. To pretend as if he's mad, because he actually fled, but now he's in the land of the same Goliath that was killed. One of the servants were able to identify him, but immediately he changed. As I keep telling people, we have to be wise as a serpent and be meek as a dove. The same manner was why Abraham had to tell the king that Sarah was his sister. At this point, David had to play the madman as if he is a partial innocent and a madman. Let's push on. Chapter 22. David therefore departed thence and escaped to the cave Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him, and everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men. And David went thence to Mizpah of Moab, and he said unto the king of Moab, Let your father let my father and my mother, I pray you, come forth and be with you, till I know what Elohim will do for me. And he brought them before the king of Moab, and they were dealt with him all the while that David was in the hold. And the prophet Gad said unto David, Abide not in the hold, depart and get you into the land of Yehudah. Then David departed and came into the forest of Kereth. When Shaul heard that David was discovered, and the men that were with him, now Shaul abide in Gibeah under a tree in Ramah, having a spear in his hand, and all his servants were standing about him. Then Shaul said unto his servants that stood about him, Hear now, ye Ben Hayamini, will the son of Yishai give every one of you fields or vineyard, and make you all captain of thousands and captain of 100, that all of you have conspired against me, and there is none that shows me that my son has cut a covenant with the son of Yishai, and there is none of you that is sorry for me, or shows unto me that my son has stirred up my servants against me, and to lie in wait as at this day. Then answered Doeg the Edonim, which was set before the servant of Shaul, and said, I saw the son of Yishai coming to Nod, to Achimelech the son of Achithophel, and inquired of Yahuwah for him, and gave him victuals, and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistine. Then the king said to call Achimelech the priest, the son of Achithophel, and all his father's house, and the priests that were in Nod, and they came out of them to the king. And Shaul said, Hear now, you son of Achithophel. And he answered, Here I am, my Adonai. And Shaul said unto him, Why have ye conspired against me, ye and the son of Yishai, in that you have given him bread and a sword, and have inquired of Elohim for him, that he should rise against me to lie in wait as at this day? Verse 14. And Achimelech answered the king and said, Who is so faithful among your servants as David, which is the king's son, son-in-law, and goes at your bidding, and is honorable in your house. Did I then begin to inquire of Elohim for him? Be it far from me. Let not the king impute anything unto his servant, nor to all the house of my father. For your servant knew nothing of all this, less or more. And the king said, You shall surely die, Achimelech, you and all your father's house. And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, Turn and slay the priests of Yahuwah, because their hands also is with David, and because they knew when he fled, and did not show it to me. But the servants of the king would not put forth their hands upon the priests of Yahuwah. And the king said unto Doeg, Turn you and fall upon the priest. And Doeg the Ammonim turned and fell upon the priest, and slew on that day 75 people that wear a linen ephod. And Nov, the city of the priest, smite he with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and suckling, and oxen and asses and sheep with the edge of the sword. And one of the sons of Achimelech, the son of Achitov, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. And Abiathar showed David that Shaul has slain Yahuwah's priests. And David said unto Abiathar, I knew it that day, when Doeg the Edonim was there, that he would surely tell Shaul, I have occasioned the death of all the people of your father's house. Abide with me, fear not, for he that seek my life, seek my life, but with me you shall be safeguarded. Chapter 23 now. Then they told David, saying, Behold, the Philistines fight against Keilah, and they robbed the threshing floors. Therefore David inquired of Yahuwah, saying, Shall I go and smite the Philistines? And Yahuwah said unto El David, Go and smite the Philistines and save Keilah. And David's men said unto him, Behold, we be afraid here in Yehudah. How much more then, if we come to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines? Then David inquired of Yahuwah yet again, and Yahuwah answered him and said, Arise, go to Keilah, for I will deliver the Philistines into your hand. So David and his men went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines, and brought away their cattle, and smote them with a great slaughter. So David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And it came to pass, when Abiathar the son of Achimelech fled to David to Keilah, that he came down with an ephod in his hand. And it was told to Shaul that David was come to Keilah. And Shaul said, Elohim has delivered him into my hands. So he is shut in by entering into a town that has gates or bars. And Shaul called all the people together to war, to go down to Keilah and besiege David and his men. And David knew that Shaul secretly practiced mischief against him. And he said to Abiathar the priest, Bring thither the ephod. Then said David, O Yahuwah Elohim Yasharel, your servants have certainly heard that Shaul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city for my people. Will the men of Keilah deliver me up into his hand? Will Shaul come down as your servant has heard? O Yahuwah Elohim Yasharel, I beseech you, tell your servant. And Yahuwah said, he will come down. Then said David, will the men of Keilah deliver me and my men into the hand of Shaul? And Yahweh said, they will deliver you up. Then David and his men, which were about 600, arose and departed out of Keilah, and went whithersoever they could go. And it was told Shaul that David was escaped from Keilah, and he forbore to go forth. And David abode in the wilderness of strongholds, and remained in the mountain in the wilderness of Ziph. And Shaul sought him every day, but Elohim delivered him out of the delivered him not into his hands. And David saw Shaul was come up to seek his life. And David was in the wilderness of Ziph in the wood. And Jehonathan's, Shaul's sons, arose and went to El David into the wood, and stand his hand in Elohim. And strengthened his hand in Elohim. And he said unto him, fear not, for the hand of Shaul my father shall not find you, and you shall be king over Yasharel, and he shall be next unto you. That also Shaul my father knows. And they two cut a covenant before Yahuwah, and David abode in the wood, and Jehonathan went to his house. Then came up to Ziphim to El Shaul in Giva, saying, does not David hide himself with us in strongholds in the wood, in the hill of Kakila, which is one of the sons of Yeshimon. Now therefore, O king, come down according to all the desire of the soul, to come down, and our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand. And Shaul said, blessed be ye of Yahuwah, for ye have compassion on me. Go, I pray you, prepare yet, and know and see his place where his town is, and who has seen him there, for it is told that he dwells very subtle. So therefore, and take knowledge of all the lurking places where he hide himself, and come ye again to me with the certainty, and I will go with you, and it shall come to pass, if he be in the land, then I will search him out throughout all the land of Yahudah. Pardon me. And they arose and went to Ziph before Shaul. But David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon, in the plain of the south of Jeshimon. Shaul and his men went to seek him, and they told David. Wherefore he came down into a rock and abode in the wilderness of Maon. And when Shaul heard that, he pursued with David in the wilderness of Maon. And Shaul went on this side of the mountain, and David and his men on that side of the mountain. And David made haste to get away for fear of Shaul. For fear of Shaul is the beginning of wisdom. That's how fearsome kings are. Though David was anointed, the fact that Shaul was still the present king, he was still afraid of him. Let's keep reading. For Shaul and his men compassed El David, and his men ran about to take them. But there came a messenger unto El Shaul, saying, haste you, and come, for the Philistines have invaded the land. Wherefore Shaul returned from pursuing after David, and went against the Philistines. Therefore they called that place Selaham Maclecoth. And David went up from thence and dwelt in strongholds of Engal and Gedi. Now we're in verse 24. And it came to pass, when Shaul was returning from following the Philistine, that it was told him, and behold, David is in the wilderness of En-Gedi. Then Shaul took 3,000 chosen men out of Yasharel and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of the field of goats. Just imagine. Now we're in verse 3. And they came to the sheep courts by the way, where there was a cave, and Shaul went in to discover his feet, and David and his men remained in the side of the cave. And the men of David said unto him, behold, the day of which Yahuwah said unto you, behold, you will deliver your enemy into our hand, that you may do to him as it shall seem good unto you. Then David arose, cut off the skirt of Shaul's robe privily. And it came to pass afterwards that David's heart smote, because he had cut off Shaul's skirt. Just look at that. Now verse 6. And he said unto his men, Yahuwah forbid that I should do this thing unto my Adonai, Yahuwah's anointed, to stretch forth my hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of Yahuwah. 7. So David stayed his servant with this word, and suffered them not to arise against Shaul. But Shaul went up out of the cave and went on this way. David also afterwards and went out of the cave and cried unto Shaul, saying, my Adonai, my Adonai. When Saul looked behind him, David stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And David said unto Shaul, wherefore hear your men's word, and saying, behold, David seeks your heart. Behold, this day your eyes have seen how that Yahuwah had delivered you today into my hand in the cave. And some bade me kill you, but my eyes spared you, and I spared. I will not put forth my hand against my Adonai, for he is Yahuwah's anointed. Verse 11. Moreover, my father, see the skirt of your robe in my hand. For in that I cut off the skirt of your robe, and kill you not, and kill you and see that there is never evil, no transaction in my hand, and I have not sinned against you. Yet you haunt my soul to take it. Yahuwah judge between me and you, and Yahuwah avenge me of you, but my hand shall not be upon you. After whom is the king of Yasharel come out? After whom do you pursue? After a dead dog, or after a flea? Let's go on. Verse 15 now. Yahuwah therefore be judged. Yahuwah therefore be judged, and judge between me and you, and see, and plead my cause, and deliver me out of your hand. And it came to pass, when David had made an end of speaking this word unto El Shaul, that Shaul said, is this your voice, my son David? And Shaul lifted up his voice and wept. And he said to El David, you are more righteous than I, For you have rewarded me good, whereas I have rewarded you evil. And you have shown this day how that you have dealt with me. For as much as when Yahuwah had delivered me into your hand, you killed me not. For if a man find his enemy, will he let him go well away? Wherefore Yahuwah reward you good, for that you have done unto me this day. And now, behold, I know well that you shall surely be king, and that the kingdom of Yasharel shall be established in your hand. Swear now therefore unto me by Yahuwah, that you will not cut off my seed after me, and that you will not destroy my name out of my father's house. And David swore unto Shaul, and Shaul went home, but David and his men got them up unto the hold. Chapter 25. And Shemuel died, and all Yasharel were gathered together, and lamented him, and buried him in his house at Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran, and there was a man of Maon, whose possessions were in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. And the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his woman Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doing, and it was of the house of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men, and David said unto the young men, Go up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say to him that lives in prosperity, peace be both to you, and peace be to your house, and peace be unto all that you have. And now I have heard that you have shearers, and now your shepherd which were with you, we hurt them not, neither was there aught missing unto them all the while they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will show you. Wherefore let the young men find favor in your eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray you, whatsoever comes to your hand, unto your servant, and to your son David. And when David's young men came, they spoke to Nabal according to all the words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servant and said, Who is David? And who is the son of Yishai? There be many servants now a day that break away every man from his Adonai. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? So David's young men turned their way and went again, and came and told him all those things. And David said unto his men, Gird ye on every man a sword. And they girded on every man a sword, and David also girded on a sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 300 abhorred by the stuff. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's woman, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our Adonai, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt. Neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them. When we were in the field, they were a wall unto us both by night and day. All the while we were with them, keeping the sheep. Now therefore know and consider what you will do, for evil is determined against our Adonai, and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial, that a man cannot speak to him. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 skins of wine, and 5 sheep ready dressed, and 5 measures of parched grains, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on asses. And she said unto her servants, Go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she told not a man Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill, and behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David had said, Surely in vain have I gathered all that this fellow has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him, and he has requited me evil for good. So and more also do Elohim unto the enemies of David, if I live of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that pieceth against the wall. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, Upon me, my Adonai, upon me let this iniquity be, and let your handmaid, I pray you, speak in your audience, and hear the words of your handmaid. Let not my Adonai, I pray you, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your handmaid, saw not the young men of my Adonai, whom you did send. Now therefore, my Adonai, as Yahuwah lives, and as your soul lives, seeing Yahuwah has withheld you from coming to shed blood, and from avenging yourself with your own hand, now let your enemies and they that seek evil to my El Adonai be as Nabal. And now this blessing which your handmaid has brought unto my Adonai, let it even be given unto the young men that follow my Adonai. I pray you, forgive the transgression of your handmaid. For Yahuwah will certainly make my Adonai a sure house, because my Adonai fights the battle of Yahuwah, and evil has not been found in you all your days. Yet a man is risen to pursue you and to seek your soul, but the soul of my Adonai shall be bound in the bundle of life with Yahuwah Elohika, and the soul of your enemies, them shall he sling out as out of the middle of the sling. And it shall come to pass, when Yahuwah shall have done to my Adonai according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and has appointed you ruler over Yasharel, that this shall be no grief unto you, nor offense of heart unto my Adonai, either that you have shed blood causeless, or that my Adonai have avenged himself. But when Yahuwah shall have dealt with my Adonai, then remember your handmaid. And David said unto Abigail, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim Yasharel, which sent you this day to meet me, and blessed be your advice, and blessed be you, which have kept this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hand. For in very deed, as Yahuwah Elohim Yasharel lives, which has kept me back from hurting you, except you had hasted and come to meet me, surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light any that pieced against the wall. So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, Go up in peace to your house. See, I have hearkened to your voice and have accepted your person. And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house like a feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing less or more until the morning light. And it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his woman had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. And it came to pass about 10 days after that Yahuwah smote Nabal, and that he died. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be Yahuwah, that has split the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and has kept his servant from evil. For Yahuwah has returned the wickedness of Nabal unto his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail, and take her to him to be his woman. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spoke unto her, saying, David sent us to you to take you to him to be his woman. And she arose and bowed herself to her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let your handmaid be a servant, to wash the feet of the servant of my Adonai. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of ass that went with her, and she went after the messenger of David, and became his woman. David also took Achinoam of Israel, and they also, both of them, his women. But Shaul had given Michal, his daughter, David's woman, to Palti, the son of Laish, which was of Galim. Just imagine that. Now, in the last chapter for today, chapter 26, and the Ziphim came unto El Shaul to give her, saying, Does not David hide himself in the hill of Hakila, which is before Yeshimon? Then Shaul rose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph, having 3,000 chosen men of Yasharel with him, and seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Shaul pitched in the hill of Hakila, which is before Yeshimon by the way. But David abode in the wilderness, and he saw that Shaul came after him into the wilderness. David therefore sent out spies, and understood that Shaul was come in very deed. And David arose and came to the place where Shaul had pitched, and David beheld the place which Shaul lay, and Abner the son of Ner, and the captain of his host, and Shaul lay in the trench, and the people pitched round about him. And then answered David and said to Achimelech the Kittim, and Abishai the son of Seruiah, and brother of Joab, saying, Who will go down with me to El Shaul to the camp? And Abishai said, I will go down with you. So David and Abishai came to the people by night, and behold, Shaul lay sleeping within the trench, and his spear stuck in the ground at his bolster. But Abner and the people lay round about him. Then said Abishai to El David, Elohim hath delivered your enemy into your hand this day. Now therefore let me smite him, I pray you, with the spear even to the earth at once, and I will not smite him the second time. And David said unto Abishai, destroy him not. For who can stretch forth his hand against Yahuwah's anointed, and be guiltless? And David said, furthermore, as Yahuwah lives, Yahuwah shall smite him, or his days shall come to die, and he shall descend into battle and perish. Yahuwah forbid that I should stretch forth my hand against Yahuwah's anointed. But I pray you, take now the spear that is at his bluster and the cruse of water, and let us go. And David took the spear and the cruse of water from Shaul's bolster, and they got them away, and no man saw it, nor knew it, neither awoke, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from Yahuwah was falling upon them. Then David went over to the other side and stood on the top of the hill afar off, a great space between them. And David cried to the people and to Abner the son of Ner, saying, answer you not, Abner? Then Abner answered and said, who are you that cries to the king? And David said to Abner, are you not a valiant man? And who is like to you in Yasharel? Wherefore then have you not gathered your Adonai the king? For there came one of the people in to destroy the king your Adonai. These things is not good that you have done. As Yahuwah lives, you are worthy to die, because you have not gathered your Elohim, your Adonai, Yahuwah's anointed. And now see where the king's spear is, and the cruse of water that was at his bolster. And Shaul knew David's voice and said, is this your voice, my son David? And David said, it is my voice, my Adonai, O king. And he said, wherefore does my Adonai thus pursue after his servant? For what have I done, or what evil is in my hand? Now therefore I pray you, let my Adonai the king hear the words of his servant. If Yahuwah have stirred you up against me, let him accept an offering. But if they be the children of men, cursed be they before Yahuwah. For they have driven me out this day from abiding in the inheritance of Yahuwah, saying, go, serve other Elohim. Now therefore, let not my blood fall to the earth before the face of Yahuwah, for the king of Yasharel is come out to seek a flea. When one hunt a partridge in the mountain, then said Shaul, I have sinned. Return, my son David, for I will no more do you harm, because my soul was precious in your eyes this day. Behold, I have played the fool, and have erred exceedingly. And David answered and said, behold, the king spake, and let one of the young men come over and fetch it. Yahuwah render to every man his righteousness and his faithfulness. For Yahuwah delivers you into my hand today, but I will not stretch forth my hand against Yahuwah's anointed. And behold, as your life was much set by this day in my eyes, so let my life be much set by in the eyes of Yahuwah, and let him deliver me out of all tribulation. Last verse. Then Shaul said to El David, blessed be you, my son David. You shall do both great things, and shall still prevail. So David went on his way, and Shaul returned to his place. Wow. All praise to Yah for that. We can see how things actually transpired, how David never looked at the fact that Shaul was one of his enemies who wanted him dead. Yah gave him the chance about 2 times, where he said he would never lay hands on Yah's anointed. How many of you can do the same thing as well? So this makes the wrap on this episode of the show. I remain your host, Nefesina Yashirala, right here on Daily Tonic in the World on GC Creative. And with this, I say shalom and bye for now.